Two. Hey, everybody, welcome back to another episode of The Music Den. I am, of course, your host, Armando Venditti. And today I have a very special guest from Ohio, Mr. Ryan Gavalier. How's it going, Ryan?
I'm doing well. How about you?
Oh, doing okay for, I don't even know what day it is today. Third Wednesday. Yeah, it's
Uh,
been, it's been one of those
yeah,
mornings for me, but no, things are good. Things are good.
that's good.
Um, so guys, what we're gonna do today, we talked about this. We're gonna do a few weeks ago, I did a Prince album ranking. What we're gonna do today is top 10 Prince songs.
Mhm.
So Ryan and I threw this list together literally minutes ago. So
Definitely.
yeah, this is gonna be fun. So we're going to each go through our list from 10 to 1. And being raised properly by my mother, I'm going to let Ryan go first. Ryan, what's your number 10?
My number 10 is a track off of 1999, and it's not the only track I have off of that album.
Okay.
It's DMSR.
Ah,
I've always loved this song, and at different points, it has been my favorite song off of that album. But as we'll see later in the list, I have some others at this point in my life I like a bit more. But I just love that synth riff, that ding ding ding.
oh, yeah. Yeah.
It's so good. That's one of the biggest reasons why I went out and grabbed the synth was that song because I was just
Really?
so mind blown by what they did on it.
That's synth
Um,
line. Really? Okay.
yeah.
That,
So
oh,
that one I really love a lot. I mean, it's I don't think one of his best written songs of all time because it's honestly really long. It's like 7 minutes or something like that.
yeah, like 8 minutes and something. Yeah.
Yeah. It's a bit repetitive, but I just really enjoy it. I think it's like a new wave synth pop kind of classic. I think it's just really catchy. You could sing along to it. Um,
Mhm.
you could dance to it. It just has, it's very cool. And I've always really enjoyed it.
Guys, you can do a lot of things to it, but we won't go into that right now. Literally. Um, I said we were going to be serious before we started taping. I lied. Um,
Yeah.
that song, yeah, DMSR side two, track two. Um, that song is funk personified.
Oh, yeah.
It's just like down and dirty and just like it's nasty. It leaves a stain on you, and that's how bad it is. That's how good it is too. So yeah, no, that's a good one. That's a good one.
Thanks.
You okay there with the
Yeah.
there we go.
Oh,
Okay.
I have my thing balanced on my water bottle right now, and I wanted to take a sip of some water.
Okay, no, I see that. No, I was just gonna wonder if I need some gravel. Okay, I mean, like moving back and forth, but that's okay. All
Yeah.
right. Um, my number 10, ladies and gentlemen, is from a very misunderstood album. Some people would say it's a long album. Um, I'd say it's a long album. It's from 1996, Emancipation, CD3, track two, The Human Body.
Nice.
Okay. It's either track two or track three on CD3. It's, how can I put this diplomatically? It's an ass shaker of a track. All right. I'm going to say this all through this bloody episode. These tracks that we're picking are nothing but ass shakers. Okay. And the human body is no exception. It's basically a house track, a lot of heavy bass house rhythms. It's very keyboard programmed oriented as Ryan flips the camera over. Um, but and I mean, and it clocks in at just under 6 minutes at something like 5 minutes and 59 seconds. It is just groove orama all over the place. And there's a couple of sections where it breaks. There's a breakdown where he uses some almost, I guess you call them industrial sounds or textures on it. I think had this track been released in like say 89, 88, 88, 89, this sucker would have been all over the dance floor and all over the dance charts. So I think it just suffers from a misplacement in release in terms of in time. I think it was maybe released maybe 8 or 7 years too late, but you know what? It's still a mamma jamma of a track. I'm sorry, it's really good.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, and there are very few vocals on it. Not a lot of vocals on it. There's and he does a really good high falsetto on that track. So yeah, that's my number 10. As I take a sip of my third coffee in the morning, which in
nice.
which
well, I just wanted to say,
go ahead.
Emancipation. I love that record.
Yeah,
I think that's probably my favorite of his 90s releases.
Really?
I mean, it's long, but it's like you don't necessarily have to listen to an album in one sitting. That's a great album to just have on in the car for like a few days. You know, like as you're just taking the little trips, you get like a trip, you get like a track or two in each ride, and it's like, man, this is just full of bangers. Like it's not like, I guess not every track is like instantly memorable, but it's so consistent for a 3 hour album. I just feel like, yeah, and there's some great covers on there too. But that's a great track. So I'll stop rambling about Emancipation. I just love that record.
No, it's fine. Emancipation's a good album. You know, you can
Yeah, that and Gold Experience are 90s Prince for me. I love those albums. I think it started off a little bit rough with Diamonds and Pearls and The Love Symbol. I think there's some really good stuff on those albums, but I think they're uneven albums.
Yeah.
But then Gold Experience and Emancipation are awesome. Chaos and Disorder is really good. Yeah. I'm only saying all this now because I don't have anything past the 80s on this list. But I do love
alert. Yeah. Yeah. Can you tell that Ryan is a Prince fan, everybody? There you go. I mean, it's yeah, no, I know what you're saying though. I know what you're saying. There are albums in the 90s, like Diamonds and Pearls. I mean, even though it sold 7 million copies, and the Love Symbol album that are uneven, like they have gaps in them. They're not consistent, but like the Gold Experience, mother lover, like, oh my god,
so good.
What a banger of an album. Like, Jesus Christ. I mean, just sidebar, I bought that album. It was released in 95, September 22nd. Not that I remember any dates or anything, but I bought the Gold Experience just on the strength of it being a Prince album. I hadn't heard any songs from it, and when I saw it in the rack, I just like, oh damn! I snapped and took it home, like, you know, because it's it's that good of an album. Okay.
I agree. I mean, I honestly checked it out just because I felt the duty to being as big of a Prince fan as I am.
Yeah.
And by the end of the album, I was almost in tears. I was like, God, that was so damn good. And like that last track, the Gold Experience, or whatever it's called, Gold, yeah, so beautiful. That's synth magic.
Yeah. He was a mean man with a keyboard.
Oh yeah. And he also had a lot of mean people playing the keyboard too, which I'm about to get to with my number 9, actually.
Okay.
Because my number 9 is off the album Purple Rain, and it's Computer Blue. Love this track. I mean, you got the cool banter between Wendy and Lisa at the beginning, and I love Wendy and Lisa. They're so cool.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, like, not to push Wendy aside for a minute, I'm more of a Lisa fan personally because she was in the band for that Dirty Mind tour.
Yeah, yeah,
And those live performances are so raw. And she's just like such a cool person. Like you just see her up there on the keyboard and she's
yeah,
just badass.
yeah,
Her and Dr. Fink both, they both are such big influences on me.
yeah. Um, yeah, just another side note. We're going to go off on tangents here, ladies and gentlemen. And I like it that way. If you guys out there can find on YouTube Prince live at the Capitol Theater, 1981, 82, black and
Yes.
white footage,
Yes.
damn, go
Yes.
find it. You will enjoy it. I'm not kidding.
Definitely.
I mean, yeah, no, I know exactly what you're saying. And I do feel, I mean, yeah, Wendy and Lisa have gone on to have a somewhat a mediocre solo career, and they've done soundtrack work for TV and for films. But I really do think that Wendy Malvoin and Lisa Coleman are two vastly underrated performers.
Oh yeah.
Right.
I mean, Wendy's like classically trained, I think, or no, it's Lisa who
Lisa's
is.
classically
Lisa's
trained.
classically trained.
Yeah.
Wendy's just really talented. And so you have them at the beginning of this track, and then you have that crazy synth riff. It's nasty.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, and Prince just gives a really how to what's the word I'm looking for his vocal performance? Dare I say sexy? Like it's
Yeah.
fucking amazing. It's amazing. Like
Yeah. Yeah.
he
Yeah.
just like his tone goes all over the place.
Yeah.
Um, like he hits some cool like more falsetto notes, more gentle notes. He has some more shouting kind of notes and stuff.
Mhm,
And it's
mhm.
just a great driving song,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
powerful drum beats. You got great riffs throughout.
Yeah.
You got that really cool breakdown in the middle where it's like
Yeah. 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 And that breakdown, that melody with the guitar and the keyboard line, they do it together. They do it as
yeah,
a tag team. That comes from another track that was supposed to be on the soundtrack called Father's Song,
yeah,
which was written by John Nelson and Prince Rogers Nelson. I should say Prince was born Prince Rogers Nelson, June 7th, 1958. He shares the same birthday as my sister Anna. Same day, same year. Although my sister wouldn't give a shit about that because she's not really a big Prince fan. But yeah, he wrote that song, Father's Song, that melody that you hear on the breakdown of Computer Blue with his father, John Nelson. So yeah, no, that's a fantastic track. And
oh yeah,
there's like an almost 11-minute remix out there, extended remix of that song. If you can
yeah.
find it, download it, whatever you can to get it, but get it. It's a
Oh,
fantastic
for
track.
sure. And also the scene in the movie with that song is awesome
Yeah,
too.
yeah,
I
yeah.
don't know. I just think overall, like that one, oh, it was a track that took me a little while to fully appreciate.
Same
But
here.
once I did, it's just like, damn it, that's one of his best songs ever.
Yeah, yeah.
The
No,
more I got into keyboards, the more I got into that kind of stuff.
really.
Yeah,
Okay. All right. Okay. That's cool. It's cool.
yeah.
My number nine, we're going all over the place here, guys. Is from 1999. It's Automatic.
Nice.
Okay. Uh, album two, track one was not released as a single in North America. It was released in Australia as a single. Um, it's just an awesome track. It's like 9 minutes and change, and it's him at his sexiest best. I mean, in terms of just I mean, this was at a point where the album 1999, I think sold about 4 million copies altogether at the end of its run. There were other singles released from the album besides 1999 Delirious and Little Red Corvette, and this is one of them. And Nina just joined me here in her bed, so she's very quiet, thank God. So yeah, no, this track, it's a different track. It's funk, but the drum pattern on it, I mean, let's be honest here, he used the Lin 1 drum machine on all of the album. So the drum pattern on this track is a little off, a little different than what you would expect.
Mm-hmm.
But it's just a slamming track, you know.
Yeah.
And the way he alters his vocal pitch and, you know, in the middle of the track, and it's just, you know, and then he pans his vocals from left to right as he's talking in a low in his natural speaking voice. It's just it's fantastic. It's really good.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah, and there is a video.
Everything that he did in the studio influenced me.
Yeah. There's a video of it, of them performing it on stage, and in the middle of the track they bring out a bed, and you have Joe Jones and Lisa Coleman trying to tie him down to a bed, and he doesn't exactly resist. So I'm just going to leave it at that. So yeah, that's my number 9. So
nice.
Okay. What's your number 8?
So my number 8's from the self-titled second album, Prince.
Mm-hmm.
It's I Want to Be Your Lover.
Ah, cool.
This song is disco funk at its finest. Disco funk pop, I don't know, whatever you want to call it. Prince's weird mix of music.
Yeah.
I mean, Prince's first 2 albums are good albums, but a bit uneven for me.
Yeah.
More so but I like them quite a bit, actually. I think they're a little underrated.
Yeah.
But this song is such a classic, and I think it was one of his first hits, I would say. This one and Why You Want to Treat Me So Bad, probably.
Yeah.
Yeah. But this one I like a little bit more. I just think that riff is so classic, that drum groove, his falsetto vocal performance.
Yeah.
Definitely like one of his sexiest vocal performances, in my opinion. It's so good.
Yeah.
And it's like he hit some pretty high notes, and it's like passionate, it's fun, it's danceable.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's one of his happiest tracks for sure. Like in terms of like the way it makes you feel, it's almost like euphoric. It's so happy. And yeah, I just love it. It's a classic.
Yeah, no.
And the live performances are also really cool of it too. And I love the little keyboard solo in the middle too.
Yeah, okay. Oh yeah. Yeah. No, I know what you're saying.
Brilliant.
Yeah,
he played everything.
Yeah, the first 3 albums, first of all he sang in all falsetto on those first 3 albums, and he played every instrument on those albums, with the exception of maybe
Dirty Mind. There was a few things that people came in to do.
Yeah, like on Dirty Mind, Dr. Fink came in and played that synth line on the title track.
And then Lisa came in for backing vocals.
Yeah. No, that is a good track. I Want to Be a Lover. And that whole second album took like 7 weeks to write and record.
Yeah.
For him. So I mean, he just locked himself away in the studio. And there was a thing about him spending so much money on the first album. I think he spent 60 grand on the first album. So he delivered this album to them for like 35 grand.
Yeah.
So I mean, yeah. So no, that's good. That's a good selection.
Thanks.
So my next one, my number 8, is a repeat from what Ryan just said. It's Computer Blue. um, all of what you said, that intro with Wendy and Lisa, and the story is that when he wanted them to say those words at the beginning, you know, I'm not going to repeat it, but he was a little shy in asking them to do it, right? And they did it but it's a slamming track. I mean, everything we just said just a few minutes ago. I mean, I can't add anything more to that. So,
Yeah,
but again, if you can find the extended mix,
it's
go for it.
great. Oh
Please
yeah.
go for it. Okay, you're number 7.
So my number 7 is off of the album Sign of the Times. And it's Slow Love.
Really? Sorry, I
I
just
love
about to
this.
take a sip. You stopped me there in my tracks. Okay, go on. Go on.
Dude, this is a great one. I mean, he has a lot of these songs that are kind of like soul ballad type of tracks. And I think that this one's probably the most infectious of them. I think his vocal performance is beautiful on it. I just think the overall instrumentation is really fantastic. It definitely has kind of a vintage feel to it. Um, I just think it's a really like smooth, sexy kind of track.
Cool. Yeah.
Yeah, I think Sign of the Times for me, I like the album a lot, but it's a little uneven for me personally.
Yeah, I mean, I have the infamous 8-disc box set down in the basement
Yeah,
with extended tracks and unreleased stuff. If you guys have to, and if you can find this, Ryan, there's the album that came before this that was supposed to be that started out as Dream Factory. I have it. I have the
yeah,
1986, the July 1986 configuration of Dream Factory, which to me is better than Sign of the Times.
yeah.
If
Sign
that,
of the Times is, I like it. I just think it's too long, and I think there's some filler on it.
yeah, no, I mean the original
I'm
was
not even a huge fan of the title track, to be honest.
really
It's like okay. I think it's like a decent track. I think it's just kind of cheesy.
okay.
It kind of gives me like Dateline NBC vibes.
Okay. All right, cool. I mean,
Yeah,
everyone's got their opinion. I mean, the original album was supposed to have 22 tracks. It was going to be a triple album. It was going to be called Crystal Ball. First, it was going to be
yeah,
called Dream Factory. Then it was going to be called Crystal Ball with 22
yeah,
tracks. Then Warner Brothers begged him to cut it down to 17 tracks or 16, 17. So he cut 5 tracks out. Um, and I mean, the rest is what they say history, right? And to be honest, and to be fair, he didn't tour the US or Canada with Sign of the Times. He concentrated mostly on the European market. So,
yeah.
but
No,
yeah,
but my whole point was,
yeah,
even though it's a little bit of an uneven album for me, I think that this is one of the many tracks on it that is a gem, and it's
yeah,
probably my favorite track off of the album. This
really
and Adore. Adore, I almost put on this list, but I like Slow Love a little bit more.
cool, cool.
Yeah,
You know what? That's the beauty about these lists. There are no right or wrong answers. It's all a matter of
for
opinion.
sure.
Um, my number 7. We're going to get a little down and dirty here, folks. Big surprise. Is from 1980, Dirty Mind album, Head.
Nice.
Okay. Um, a little note about the album. It was supposed to be released. The songs were basically done as demos, and the album clocks in at just around 29 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
It's not a very long album. This track two, side two, basically tells the story of two people that meet by fate. And she was a virgin on her way to be wed. And once she met Prince, plans changed. But
Yep.
pretty much. But
Yeah.
this track is again very funky. Uh he opens if he opened that hi-hat any wider than he did when he was doing the track, like on the breakdown section, it's just like, oh my god. And it's like bass all over the place. I'm telling you, like really like down and dirty funk galore. It's just a great track. um so yeah. And the story of it was he wrote this song before Lisa Coleman joined the group,
Yeah.
and Gail Chapman, the original keyboard player, didn't want to sing the song because of the lyrical content. She tried to make some lyric changes, and he said, "No, this is my song, and this is how we're going to do it." And she says, "Okay, fine, I'm gone, I'm out." And Lisa Coleman came in and was more than happy to sing those lines in those lyrics, and the rest, as I say again, is history. So,
Yeah.
yep, that's my number seven. Head. So, what's your number six?
Hey.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh my God. Okay, we're
I
repeating.
thought I was going to be the weird one for putting this on my list, but
No.
I love this song so much. It's so damn funky.
Yeah.
Like that down
Yeah. Yeah. Very, very slinky in its
yeah.
arrangement, very just down and dirty. And you could just see him in the studio just slapping that bass when he's laying the bass track
Yeah.
down. And uh,
Yeah. Well, the live performances with the band,
yeah,
with that band on that tour,
yeah,
definitely influenced this for me too, because they would go real hard on this one live. And it's so funny to watch
yeah,
Lisa too, because she like when she's singing, she does like funny shit, like facial expressions and stuff to
yeah,
like poke fun at the lyrics and stuff. Because I
yeah.
mean, they're absurd lyrics. Like, let's be real. I mean, Prince is he has a very he's not afraid to push boundaries.
Not at this point. No, no.
No. And you see that on other songs on this album too. And like that's fine. I
Yeah.
mean it was cutting edge for the time. Um does everything that he said still age well? No, not always, but this song is brilliant. It's so good musically. Um and it's just he gives a fantastic falsetto performance on it too. One
Mhm.
of his best vocal performances, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Um, and then Lisa's vocal performance is fantastic too. It's just
Mhm.
like she's very theatrical with it, honestly. It's
Yeah.
like they feel like they're playing characters, and I think that's what makes this album fun. Is I think it's you could see that it is Prince just trying to push the envelope as much as possible and like almost making like a personified version of himself and doing that or
Yeah.
like a her hyperbole of himself. It's kind of
Yeah.
cool. I
Like a
mean,
hyper.
Dirty Mind is oh, what's up?
So I was just going to say, like a hypersexualized version of himself.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
Yeah. That's cool.
And like, yeah, I mean, Dirty Mind as an album is honestly one of the biggest reasons I got the confidence to just go buy a drum machine and a synth and start making albums myself. I mean, obviously that's built quite a bit now, like three synths, and I've got my other instruments and stuff. But like this album is the reason I got that confidence. Just knowing that he could be like in his house and make an album that good.
Yeah.
Because it's in my top, it's probably my number two Prince album.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean,
Like, it's so good.
and you can see with this album where he was going. Like looking back, I mean, it's his third release. It was released October 8th or 5th of 1980. And it was a definite departure from the second self-titled album, because he was definitely going for the I mean, he had other songs on the second album like Bambi,
Yeah.
Sexy Dancer, but this album was where he went right into the sexual arena and never really strayed up until like maybe like the 2000s. Um,
Yeah.
and it scared Warner Brothers when they released it, but give him
Well,
credit, man. He made them release it, and they did. So
he also says fuck a lot on this album.
yeah,
A lot.
he swears,
A lot.
and it
This
was
is
funny
like,
because yeah, no, because I was just gonna say he played the album for his father, and his father said, "Why do you swear on the album?" And he goes, "Because I swear. That's just me. It's like who I am."
yeah,
So yeah.
I love it.
Oh yeah.
It's such a good album, and like, there's so many great tracks, and we'll talk about more tracks on this album at some point in this episode, I'm sure. But
Mhm.
this one, I think, was just so influential to me on a musical
Yeah,
level, and also just like, whoa, you could talk about so much in music because it's like it's almost an absurd song how like vulgar it is. I mean, not compared to like stuff people say now, but like looking at that time, it's like
back.
holy.
Yeah, in 1980. Yeah, there was nothing like this.
Yeah,
Um, and I mean, just quickly, the album has different styles: disco, R&B, new
new
wave.
wave,
Yeah, it goes
punk,
basically all over the
honestly,
map. Hmm? Sorry,
kind of punky at
punky-ish. Yeah,
points.
so it
Like
goes all up.
Sisters, a pretty punky song.
Yeah, for like a minute and 32 seconds of like incestuous love, between sister and her brother.
Yeah,
But yeah,
it's
no,
so wow.
okay.
He's yeah.
He was a bad mamma jamma. I'm telling you right now,
Yeah.
he pushed it. Okay. My number, we must carry on, ladies and gentlemen. My number six is from Diamonds and Pearls. Thunder leads off the album. There was one of the tracks, or maybe he was on tour at the time, I think, with the Graffiti Bridge album, and he in Japan, and he did this all by himself. He did the track in Japan, and I just like the choral intro on the vocal, and then it just goes into the track, and you hear like almost like thunder and rain coming down, and it you know it's all drum machines and stuff. But then you hear like the sitar effect on the guitars coming in. Whether he actually used a sitar, I'm not sure. But it's just a funky track, and it's my favorite track on the album.
Mhm.
And it wasn't. I don't think it was released as a single, but yeah, it's a really good song. So yeah, that's my number
Yeah.
six.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, good stuff. Um, my number five is the self-titled track on 1999.
Well, in other words, 1999. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Cool. Cool.
Yeah. Um, so I mean, I think this is undoubtedly probably one of the greatest pop songs ever made. Definitely of the 80s. Um, I mean, that keyboard riff is just so infectious. I mean, Phil
and
Collins ripped
massive.
it
Yeah.
off.
Sorry. And
Phil Collins ripped it off.
oh yeah, on Susudio, I would say.
Yeah. Like what? A year after it was made, like
Year and a half, yeah, something like that.
douche.
Yeah.
But like
Yeah. No, yeah, it
I love Phil Collins, but that was a douche move.
yeah, it's a bit of a douchey move. I'm
But
sorry. Yeah.
yeah. um, but yeah, I mean, it's just such a great riff. It's so happy. You have that awesome intro with the pitch down vocals.
Yeah.
Um,
Don't worry, I won't hurt you. You know.
I only want to have some
Yeah,
fun. Yeah, it's
exactly.
so good.
Yeah.
I mean, it's kind of like, I don't know, just very much like dramatic intro, and then the keyboard riff comes in, and then you have the interplay of like the whole band singing, which is really cool when you're watching like the music video and stuff, just getting to see them all like singing together, like,
Yeah.
you know, I don't know, I just love it. I think it's so happy, it's so fun, but then at the same time it's talking about nuclear warfare, possible end of the world,
It's a serious lyric. It is.
Y2K, etc. Like, but we just have to have fun, even though we could just blow up any minute. We just have to have fun. And I think it's very much the way I try to live life. I mean, there's always things we could be afraid of, but like,
Yeah.
we just got to have fun at the end of the day.
Yeah. No, I know what you're saying.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that is a good track. And when I listen to it, I always listen to the album version. I can't listen to the single edit anymore. I always associate it with the album version, which is like 6 minutes plus. Um, so yeah, um, that's a good one. That's a good one.
Yeah.
Um, moving on. Um, my number five is from the Gold Experience, Gold.
Nice.
Last track on the album. Some people say it's the Purple Rain of the 90s, but you know what? I don't agree. I think each track is their own entity. Um, I um, I think I mean it's 7 minutes plus. It's a song of optimism. It's a song of resigning yourself to the fact that everything that you think is going to make you happy isn't going to make you happy. All the material shit that you're going to get in life or attain in life isn't going to make you happy. Happiness comes from within. And, as the lyric goes, all that glitters and gold, you know? So,
Yeah.
I think it's just a fantastic, I always say just a fantastic, but it is a fantastic piece of work. Um, the drumming on it is great.
Yes.
That thick drum pattern that they've got going, the heavy, bass with the snare and drum combination, that build up to the guitar solo, and then he counts it in, 1, 2, and then he just runs into the guitar solo. It's great. Um, uh, Again, for me, it's a song of hope. It's a song of optimism. Um, and I think I think it's a very underrated track on
I
the album.
agree.
And I think it suffers the overall album, the Gold Experience. If you can find it now. It's released on Legacy Sony Music, remastered. Um, I think it was very under promoted when it was first released in '95, because by the time it was released, Prince had already moved on to Emancipation.
Yeah.
Um, so again, uh, if you want to get it, go get it, please. Yeah, so that's my number five.
Nice.
And your number four?
So my number four is actually also off of 1999, and the track is Lady Cab Driver.
Oh, I was gonna pick that, but that's okay.
Well, you could still pick it.
Oh, I know. No, no, no. Go
Yeah,
on.
yeah,
Go
yeah.
on. Go on. Go on.
No, but like
I was
this
gonna start
song.
singing it. Oh my God. It's so good though. That funky drum pattern, man. Like,
It's so, so damn funky. Amazing vocal performance on here too. It's so sexy. It's definitely like one of his sexiest vocal performances. And then that backwards guitar solo. Oh, so influential to me with studio tricks I do and stuff, but like
yeah.
honestly so badass. And like Prince is just, people talk about him as a guitarist, and I think he's an amazing guitarist, but whenever I hear someone talk about that, it's like Purple Rain, and then it's While My Guitar Gently Weeps.
No.
It's like, no, fucking Lady Cab Driver and like stuff like that.
Lady
One
Cab
Doves
Driver.
Cry.
Yeah. The Central Ever After from the Rainbow Children.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. It's he yeah. And by the way, ladies and gentlemen, that poor lady cab driver who had to go through not getting paid in cash in the middle section of the track, you know, that was Joe Jones doing her ultimate orgasmic best, you know.
Oh yeah,
Um,
definitely.
but yeah,
It's
no, yeah, I agree with you. Your number four is fantastic. As a guitarist, he was heavily influenced. Prince was heavily influenced by Carlos Santana, Sly Stone, Jimi
Hendrix.
Hendrix. And if you listen to the album The Rainbow Children, you can hear that guitar influence coming through loud and bloody clear. I'm telling you right
Mhm.
now. Yeah, that's a good track. And that is, by the way, Jimmy Jam's favorite track off the album.
Yeah,
Um,
it's so good.
it's just, yeah, it's just nasty. I love it. I just love it.
I think it's probably the best funk track out of the 80s.
Yeah,
I can't think of any other track out of the 80s that would be a better funk track than that.
yeah, yeah, no, definitely. Um, we must carry on, ladies and gentlemen. Number four for me is a song that's very personal to me. Some would say it's autobiographical. Dirty Mind, 1980. As you can tell, Ryan's very serious right now. No, this track, he came up with the bass line, and the rhythm section. He came up with it, and Matt Fink came up with the melody on the keyboards, that synth line, and he basically finished this track in 24 hours. He took it home, recorded it overnight, brought it back in, and it's brilliant. I mean, it's funk, it's disco, um it's fun. It's just a good joyous romp of a track. Um and he sings it in falsetto as he does the first three albums, like we said. It's a good song. I love it. I think it's the one I go to. That album, Dirty Mind, is the one I go to most often than not. That one in Controversy is a second place.
Really?
Yeah,
That's
Controversy is bad.
awesome. That's
Controversy,
awesome.
yeah.
I
Sorry.
don't really like Controversy that much, so I'm glad to hear you say that.
Oh,
I've not like I like some stuff of there's some songs on there that I love,
yeah.
but for me, Controversy is probably my least favorite Prince album of the 80s.
Really?
Yeah,
Okay. All right. Them's fighting
but
words,
no, that's super cool though. Like I'm glad to hear you say that.
them's
But
fighting
like,
words. But hello. Like,
hey,
come on, man.
it's
You're
tough
lucky you're in Ohio,
competition.
right now. I mean,
Hey, it's tough competition. He has every single album out of the 80s is at least great.
yeah. No, I got you.
Um,
Right. So, okay. Again, we must carry on, ladies and gentlemen.
yeah.
What's your
My
number
number
three?
three is Dirty Mind.
There's a lot of crossover. Have you noticing that, guys? Like, it's a lot. That's great, though.
Yeah.
That's great.
I love this song. Another one that was huge for me getting into synths. Like I said, the Dirty Mind album is pretty much that, and going to see Nine Inch Nails live are probably the two, and then Brian Eno and Kraftwerk are probably the biggest reasons I got into music. But number one reason is Prince,
Oh,
like,
really?
or got into electronic music because I've been playing music for 20 years. But yeah, Prince, this album, this song. When I heard this synth riff, I just lost my shit. I was just like, this is so amazing. And like I heard that drum machine, I'm like, it sounds so good. And
Hmm.
I'm like, holy crap, he did this in his house. Like, this is the most amazing thing ever. Anybody can do this, like, if they want to, if they put in the work. Like,
Yeah.
so I don't know. Prince is just such an influential figure to me, more
Yeah.
than any other musician, and largely because of this album.
Yeah.
I just think it's brilliant that he did this all on his own, and like, I don't know. This song's just so catchy. It's got the really cool synths. It's got that great driving beat. His vocal performance is definitely one of his sexiest ever. It's just so good.
Yeah.
Um, God, I just love it. Cool breakdowns. It's long. It's just a good dancing track. Yeah, I
It's
just love it.
it's long, but it moves along. You know what I mean? Like
Yes.
it's not. It doesn't overstay its welcome.
Yeah, I agree.
You know. No, that's great. That's great. Um, you you okay there?
Yeah.
Okay. And as you can see, Nala joined us in the background. She's
Yeah.
just on the purple chair there, little sweetheart. Um, but
Just plug in my charger.
oh, cool, cool.
Yeah.
Um, okay, my number three is controversy.
Sorry.
Yeah, my pick caused Ryan to lose his shit and script and drop his camera. Um, yeah, controversy, 1981 title track, 7 minutes of just ass shaking disco that I call it. I mean, the lyrics are very topical at the time. That whole album is very politically, lyrically themed. In terms of songs like "Run You Talk to Russia," "Any Christian," but also songs like the title track. Where I mean, when I first heard it, just that rhythm, like that melody that comes on with controversy. Like I don't know whether he does it on guitar or maybe a bass synth. I have no idea, but I mean, it's just amazing. And when you're he actually does the the Lord's Prayer in the center of the track, right? He kind of like breaks it down and then he goes, people call me rude. I wish we all were nude. I wish there was no black and white. I wish there were no rules,
It's
That's I
brilliant.
know the song, guys. But it, it's a great funk disco
Mhm.
track. Uh,
Yeah.
but there's other songs too, like Sexuality, Do Me Baby, Private Joy, uh,
Yeah.
you know, uh, and the funny one, the I call it the comical track, Jack You Off, at the
Yeah,
very end of the album, right?
for
So yeah,
sure.
some people say the album is dated in terms of the use of keyboards and the use of drum machines, but you know what? I, I love the album. So
That's
um,
fair.
yeah, that's my number three. And your number two?
So my top two tracks are both off of Purple Rain, and
Okay.
neither of them are Purple Rain. I'm just gonna say that. I love Purple Rain. It's a great track, but
Mhm.
not my favorite Prince song. So my number two is Take Me With You.
Cool.
I love this song. I love the strings, like the synth strings and stuff.
Yeah.
Um, Definitely something I've been getting into, like orchestral stuff. So definitely influences take from that and just like learn from. I think it just has a really sweet overall feeling to it. I love the scene in the movie when they're riding around on the bike, the motorcycle and stuff.
Hmm.
I like the singing. I like the that it's like a duet. I
Yeah.
enjoy that a lot.
Yeah.
That is Apollonia singing, right? I'm trying to.
It's a combination of Apollonia and because she couldn't hold a note.
Yeah,
She could not sing. He didn't realize that when they hired her. Uh,
yeah,
that voice is a combination of Apollonia, Cataro, and Lisa Coleman.
that's right. Okay, that's what. Yeah,
And I
I had a feeling it wasn't just Apollonia.
I do think it's a bit of Joe Jones mixed in for just a little bit good
Yes.
measure.
Mhm.
But yeah, apparently Prince quickly realized that Apollonia could not sing, or her real name is Patricia, and he
Yeah,
left Susan Rogers, his house engineer, alone with her in the studio to try and coach her to get the perfect vocal track. But yeah, no, that's a good song. That's a good, and
it is.
it's it's one of the many singles released off of Purple Rain.
Yeah, I just think it's kind of like a iconic kind of sound with the cool drums in the
Yeah,
beginning.
yeah,
And then in the middle of the song, then you got the strings. It's just production wise, such a brilliant song.
yeah, yeah. And a lot of that has to do with good engineering. And Susan Rogers, Dr. Susan Rogers, is a talent all under herself. I mean, she was one of Prince's weapons in his arsenal, which he used quite a bit. And she always brought her A game
Yeah,
whenever
definitely.
they worked together. I mean, he demanded so much from his employees, people he worked with, and she always delivered. So
Yeah,
um, that's that's a slamming track too. I mean, that whole album is just like whoa. I mean, like my God, right?
yeah.
It
We'll
should have
talk
been.
about that. Oh, what?
Sorry, I was just gonna say, Purple Rain should have been a double album with all the songs that he wrote for that soundtrack.
Yeah,
It should have been a double album.
it
Um,
could have been, but I kind of like the pacing of what it is.
yeah,
I, you know, maybe like do a double, like do a deluxe edition with all the extra stuff.
yeah. You hear
But
that, Warner Brothers? That's what you should be
but
doing. So yeah, no,
yeah,
it's true.
but I think the album itself is extremely well paced.
It is.
I do think it is his best album in terms of pacing, in terms of just like having song after song just being brilliant. There's not a weak moment on Purple Rain.
Yeah, I would agree. What I was going to say, Wendy Melvoin said that there was a point where he was just white hot in terms of his ability to write a melody and a good hook and
Mhm.
to craft a song. It was just like he could just pull it out of the air.
Yeah.
And I would agree. I would agree. But moving on, ladies and gentlemen, my number two is um, I Can Never Take the Place of Your Man. And this song, although it was released on Sign of the Times in 87, it tracks back to 1979 when he did a demo of it back then. He wrote it back then. He never completed it. It's on the Sign of the Times box set. If you can get it on, listen to it on YouTube, or even get the box set, please do. I just think this is a beautiful song. Um, and live, Sheila E. does an amazing job on drums. That woman can play like no one's business. And and I don't mean and when I talk about these tracks, ladies and gentlemen, I don't mean the edited versions. I mean the way they were recorded, the way they were meant to be heard on the albums, the full version. Forget the edited versions. This track clocks in at 6 minutes plus, I believe, and it's a beautiful piece of work. Um, and he's basically telling this woman who's trying to pick him up at a bar or a club. I may be good for a good time for one night or a couple of dates, but I am not looking for a long-term relationship. So you're barking up the wrong tree if you want that from me. So, and he's saying it very plainly. For all of you out there who think that, oh, I wasn't being given clear signals, listen to this song. You know what I mean? And it'll tell you exactly what the guy's thinking or what the girl's thinking. So, yeah, that's my number 2.
Nice. My number 1, like I said, is also off of Purple Rain. Take a guess, Armando. I'm curious. What do you think it is?
It's either Darling Nikki or Baby I'm a Star. Really?
Yeah. Beautiful Ones.
Oh, okay. Okay.
The song is so good. I mean,
Okay.
that synth riff, that main synth riff, it's
Yeah.
just like you're floating in like a dreamland. It's
Yeah.
just like ding, 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 ding,
Yeah.
ding,
Yeah.
down, down.
And those big drums that come in. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, the drums.
Yeah. That heavy, that thick snare sound on the drum machine. Yeah. Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
beautiful. And then Prince's vocal performance on this song is like the best thing ever. It's mostly falsetto until he starts getting into some weird like lower register parts, and then he
Yeah.
goes up into the high screaming parts
Yeah. Yeah.
with the tell you. It's
Yeah.
just like holy
Do you
shit.
want him or do you want me? Because I want you. And he's screaming into the mic. It's just
He
like,
screams it. And then the falsetto is my favorite part.
yeah.
His falsetto on this track is his finest ever, in my opinion. It gives me chills every single time. Like I almost cry when I hear this song. I can't help but just like sing along every time too. I mean, that chorus is just like one of the best melodies I've ever heard. You were so hard to find.
Yeah.
It's so good. Like the whole track is just brilliant. It has the bombastic end. And then if you watch the movie, you see like visually kind of
What's going on?
that he's kind of an asshole. It's not really a very romantic song, actually. It's extremely toxic and narcissistic
Yeah.
and
He knows that the
that
relationship is not the way it should be, but he still wants her.
yeah, and it's just so awesome that he can make something that's so beautiful, but at the same time it's subverting you because it's extremely toxic and
Yeah.
like gross, and it's just like it's
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah.
And it's like because I think that's what I love about Prince is it's not like he's not just trying to like throw you he's not trying to spoon feed you things. He's not trying to always give you the most honest portrayal of himself. He does make characters, but when he is honest about himself and he does show some of his more egotistical qualities, it's like man, he truly was an artist and he was one of the greatest. Am I saying he was a great person? Probably not. But
No.
is he one of the greatest artists of all time? Yes.
If you can separate the two, then that's good. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's true. It's true. It's very true. Um, yeah. And apparently he was very like whenever he did his vocals, he was very shy. So nobody could be in the studio when he in the booth while he was recording, like in the control room. They had to be outside. So the story was, they'd go on a break. He'd send, the engineers and the revolution on a break or whatever. And then they'd hear they'd hear him shrieking while he was doing the vocal take, right? And they're like, okay, that's a keeper. All right, okay, he's laying it down. You know what I mean? So these shrieks in the beautiful ones, you probably were probably done with him alone in the studio because he was
That's
very
so
shy.
cool.
he could not sing in front of people in the studio.
Yeah. I'm
So
the same way, honestly. I'm kind of a nervous vocalist as
yeah,
well.
yeah. I mean, I think we all are to some extent.
Yeah.
But
It's just such a good track though. So
yeah,
beautiful. And it's my favorite Prince song.
okay, okay. My number one, and there's a lot of overlap here, ladies and gentlemen. 1999 title track. I'm sorry. That I mean, that's got to be for me the number one dance track that Prince has ever done. Um, and again, I don't mean the 3 minute, 10-second single edit. I mean the 6 minute, 32-second or 52-second album track with the down pitched vocals like, don't worry, I won't hurt you. I only want you to have some fun. Yeah, well, you know what? We do have some fun. The track is slamming. The melody on the keyboards, that huge, thick synth line that comes in, is just amazing. The fact that he did basically all the instrumentation for it, and in 24 hours, like he apparently wrote the song in the studio and played it for the time the next day because they were rehearsing. And he says they started listening to it and they were like, "What is this?" He says, "Well, I wrote this last night." And Jimmy Jam was like, "You wrote this last night?" He's like, "Yeah, took me about an hour." And he's like, "Summer." And he's thinking, "Why the hell can't we have a track like this?" And I'm thinking, well, at the time, Prince wouldn't let you have a track like that because he basically controlled everything that the time did. But
Yeah.
and even with the vocals, I mean, originally it was going to be all four of them, him, Joe Jones, Lisa Coleman, and Des Dickerson singing all the vocal lines. I was dreaming when I wrote this, forgive me if it goes astray. But right when they were going to track it, he separated it. He says, okay, girls, you sing this line. Des, you sing this. I'll sing this. And that's what came out on the finished product, right? So
It's magical.
it's yeah, it's gold. It's platinum. Like
Yeah.
at your fingertips. It's right there. You know what I mean? So yeah, that's my number one. So
Yeah.
do you have any honorable mentions? I've got maybe two.
Dude, I have like 200, so I'm not even gonna bother,
Okay.
honestly. I'll just say this. Prince is like I said, definitely one of the best. And I mean, is everything he did amazing? No. But for like 700 tracks that he released or whatever you were saying, like 682, I mean,
Yeah.
so many of them are like great tracks.
Yeah. Yeah.
He was a master at what he did. So I could sit here for an hour giving honorable mentions because there's just so many.
Okay. Well, I said I had two, but I've got three. So I'll mention them quickly. First one is Don't Talk to Strangers, which is from the Girls Six soundtrack. It's a beautiful ballad. Forget Shaka Khan doing it. All right, on her album. Forget it. The original. Prince did it, and it's again beautiful ballad. He's basically talking to his girlfriend, saying that things aren't working out. He's going to move on, but whatever happens, she will be loved, and he will always remember her. And why I like it is because you can use it and you can think about it in any way. Sorry, not use it, but you can think about it in any context. And for me, I think about how when we lost my sister, and she's basically saying to my nephew, to her son, who was 3.5 at the time, saying that I have to go. I can't be with you anymore, but I will remember you and I will love you no matter what. So sorry. Moving on. My other one, my second one is from the Gold Experience, We March, with
Nice.
Nona Gay, daughter of Marvin Gaye, on the track. It's track 6 on the Gold Experience. Politically motivated track, but basically it's saying the one lyric that says, "Don't cry, you made the bed in which you lie," meaning if you don't like the situation that you're in, odds are you put yourself there in the first place. So you have no one to blame but yourself. So get yourself out of whatever mess you think you're in and stop bitching about it. Start doing something about it. So that's my second one. And I was going to say a third one, but oh, what the hell? Crystal Ball.
Nice.
The track itself, it's depending on which version you have, it's either 11 minutes, 8 seconds or 10 minutes and 30 seconds. It's a one-off track that was supposed to be on the Crystal Ball album. It's Prince on all instrumentation. It's just an odd track with odd time signatures. And it's, he alters the pitch of his vocals on parts of the track. I can't even explain the track. It's that good and it's that oddball. So, guys, if you're watching, or I know you're watching, I hope you are, check out the track on YouTube, download it, do whatever you got to do to find it, because you know what? It's bloody well worth it. So, yeah, that's our list. That's a hell of a list.
Yeah.
That is a hell of a list.
Yeah. Should we run through ours real quick since like just say them without
Run through what? Run through.
just say the list again without any details because we
Okay.
did. Yeah.
Okay. I'll do. Do you go first?
Okay. So 10 was DMSR, 9 was Computer Blue, 8 was I Want to Be Your Lover, 7 was Slow Love, 6 was Head, 5 was 1999, 4 was Lady Cab Driver, 3 was Dirty Mind, 2 Take Me With You, and 1 was The Beautiful Ones.
Okay. And my list again was the number 10, The Human Body. Number 9, Automatic. Number 8, Computer Blue. Number 7, Head. Number 6, Thunder. Number 5, Gold. Number 4, I was going to skip number 4, Dirty Mind, autobiographical. Number 3, Controversy. Number 2, I Can Never Take the Place of Your Man. And number 1, 1999. So it's a hell of a
Nice.
list, ladies and gentlemen. So yeah, so I think we're pretty much done. So
Yeah.
yeah, and guys, I forgot to mention this in our previous episode, on the Madonna episode, but please check out Ryan's channel, Ryan's Vinyl Destination. There's a bunch of fantastic content because I'm featured on it as well, up to a point. But check out Ryan's channel, sorry, and I'm sure you'll love what he's putting on the channel. And Ryan and I, before we started taping, we talked about doing a Pink Floyd episode together, so we're going to hash that out. It's another idea I have for an episode or a series. Again, it sounds pretentious when I say that word, but more than a series of episodes with the same theme. So yeah, that's it for now. And hopefully you guys are having a great day, and hopefully you enjoyed yourself this time, Ryan.
Oh, yeah, it was a great time. Thanks for having me on.
Anytime you want to come on, please do. I can always use the company and the laughs and the
Yeah.
knowledge, because you really know what you're talking about. And Ryan's also a fantastic musician, so please check out his stuff on YouTube. He's
Yeah,
great.
it's on here, do you mind real quick?
Sure, go ahead. No, plug it.
Yeah, I actually just my second EP just went on streaming last night. It's
Cool.
on Spotify, it's on Amazon, Apple Music, YouTube, um, and a bunch of other ones, but pretty much every major streaming platform you could find it. This one's called 2023 Sampler Volume 1. It's kind of supposed to be like the old electronic albums in like the early 2000s, like the
Yeah.
name sort of. It's kind of a play on things, but then also I have another one on there too.
Yeah.
My name's Ryan Gavalier. You could find me on streaming, like I said, and I'll have a bunch more stuff coming out soon. Thanks for mentioning that, Armando.
Anytime. Guys, Ryan Gavalier is a fantastic musician. And believe me, he's going to go places. So please check out his music on all the places he mentioned. Check out on YouTube. And yeah, and for Ryan Gavalier, I am Armando Venditti. Hopefully, you guys are having a great day. And please look after yourselves and one another. And we will be talking to you very soon. Take care for now. Have a great day. Bye.
Bye.